I'm Christian Jacobson.
And I'm Erin Jacobson.
We've been coming to Bethel for a little over 2 years now, and we just celebrated our 11th anniversary.
We have 3 kids, Bennett, Levi, and Claire.
We were married and had all 3 of our kids before we were saved. So really there wasn't much of a foundation for what we were building our family on.
Our life was in such a different place. Like, things were all falling apart. We had significant behavior issues with almost all of the kids that have been going on for 8 years, and then that causes just conflict with us because that's just too much stress to manage on a daily basis.
After we were saved, we just, are really looking to the Lord for guidance of how to rebuild.
Align the family to God's design for family. Yeah. We've really noticed in the last 2 years that our will is being completely turned into God's will. So we want what he wants, and we feel that more now. Especially looking back, sometimes you can't see it until you step back, and then you see all the little pieces that were adding up to be that we were going in the right direction. Yeah. Well, definitely some things that have surprised us. We moved to Cherry Hill for the good school district, and then God put it in our heart that maybe we should send our kids to King's. And so we toured King's, and I was like, I don't know. And we came out, and Christian's like, no, I know. This is it. We're sending the kids here. And then just 6 months ago, the Lord had me leave my career that I had been working my way up over 12 years, and now I am home because that's what my family needed, and it was in his timing. I had been thinking about it for a year and thinking Lord, how is this going to be possible, without 2 incomes? And he made a way, and it was incredible. We're just living in total obedience, and we're seeing the blessings that come from just absolute obedience.
And he has really made a path for us, financially, step by step, because every step forward we wanted to take, we didn't think would be possible, but somehow he always makes a way for us.
Well, since I've been home from work, I've made it just my full-time job to disciple these kids. I felt really strongly that's what needed to happen. They needed me around them all the time, sharing truth and getting them into these things, and I can see it in them, and it comes out in the tiniest ways of Claire singing some little song to me and knowing the truth of what she knows, and for Levi to say that God loves him so much. It's when they share things like that, I can see that it's going in, and I can see that it's working, and I love seeing God develop these relationships in these little hearts.
And since we're only saved a few years ago, I feel like a beginner in all of this, so I need someone to turn to and to guide me through these steps, especially with in our marriage, and as parents I need somewhere I can look for answers, and it's been the Lord through his word, leading by example. We see how Jesus was obedient to his Father, and if we're modeling that same aspect in front of our children, then we can guide them the right way too.
And for me, I always just have Romans 8:28 in the back of my mind, because we've been in really difficult seasons of parenting for a really long time. And God just keeps filling me with this hope that it's all for good. It's all gonna go for my good and for the glory of God then ultimately. And also what I've noticed in the last year is I'm constantly humbled by my own unbelief when he makes things come out for good, and when I'm worried about something and he does far more than I could have expected. The Lord, as my wonderful counselor, is wonderful because he doesn't just fix the problem. He talks me through it. He listens to what I have to say about it. He understands me. He walks me through, here's what we can do about that. And then he gives me the strength to change. And that's exactly how I should be parenting our kids. And it's wonderful to have somebody model that for you, and not just tell you how to do it, but to actually model that all the time. And you think about God as so big and so mighty, but then you go to him with something and he listens to you, and he doesn't shame you ever, even if he should. There's such a tenderness there, and I think there's so much more gentleness than people even think about.